Also today, with our pot roast, I'm going to make pierogi pie. It's something that a friend of mine passed on to me to make with leftover mashed potatoes, which we all have once in a while in our refrigerators. As you can see, I have a dish here of mashed potatoes. I'm not really sure the quantity of it because they were leftovers, and as you can see, I have left the skins on because we do prefer that. I have some raw onions right here, which I'm going to saute up in some butter in the pan behind me. We have some shredded cheddar cheese. I have butter, salt and pepper, and raw lasagna noodles. I have about 9 of them here. I'm going to boil these up as per the manufacturer directions on the box. And then once they're boiled, I'm going to let them cool a little bit. I'm going to butter my casserole dish and do 3 noodles on the bottom, followed by the leftover mashed potatoes, which I'm going to heat in the microwave to make them a little bit easier to spread. Sauteed onions on top, the cheddar cheese, salt, pepper, and some butter. I'm going to layer, and then the top layer we'll put some butter on it, and then we'll cover with foil and put it in a 350-degree oven for about a half hour to heat through. So right now I'm going to put these in the pot to boil up. And, get that going there. Next, I'm going to saute the onions up in some butter this time because we are using butter in the recipe. I like to use the butter with the onions. If you rather use the non-stick spray, that's fine. If you want to use olive oil, that's fine too, or canola oil, whatever you like. We like to use the butter. So I'm going to start that up. Turn on my pan. And I'm going to put some butter in there. I'm going to add the onions. 1 jump ship. There we go. And we're just going to let them saute up. They don't have to brown. They just have to sweat a little bit. If you want to brown them up, that's okay. You can see our onions are browning. I decided just to let them brown up a little bit today. Add a little bit of color to the pierogi pie because you'll have the beige noodles and the white potatoes. So I thought, it wouldn't be too bad to add a little bit of color. So they're almost done, and our noodles, I believe, are almost done. I'll be able to get them out and strain them. I've microwaved my potatoes for a few minutes to soften them up, to make them a little bit more spreadable. They might still be a little chunky here and there, but that's okay. I've buttered the dish with regular butter. I've already laid in 3 pieces of the cooked lasagna noodle. And I'm going to spread some potato in there. It may not spread perfectly, but you know what? That's okay. Just do this. You don't have to cover every inch of noodle if it's a little tough. If some layers have more potato than other, that's okay. And I'm going to just scoop in some of the onions, just kind of lay them all over. Mine got a little browner than expected, but that's okay. Just going to spread them out. And we'll just do, oops, a little bit went overboard. Cheddar cheese. I already used pre-shredded. If you want to do chunks, if you want to do mozzarella cheese or any other type of cheese, that's okay. I am going to add a little bit more butter. Oh, there's my knife. I'm just going to throw in some blobs here and there. Just to, do a little bit of flavoring. I don't really have any set amounts. If you need to have set amounts, then maybe 3 or 4 tablespoons per layer. Oops, some things a little stick to it. That's okay. And I'm going to do a little salt and pepper as well. I use kosher salt, but if you have sea salt or regular table salt, that's fine. Salt and pepper is to taste. I'm going to start my second layer. Just 3 noodles. I had my noodles cooling during the break because they were a little bit too hot to handle. And as you can see, some noodles somehow lose part of it. That's okay. Doesn't matter. It's going to be covered with mashed potatoes. Now I can probably figure about using half of this. Well, I could probably use this all because this would be the top layer. Like I said, some layers will be a little bit more uneven than others, but that's okay. Depends on the amount of mashed potatoes you have left. And just scoop this up. Whoops. Sometimes it does get a little messy, but that's okay. That's part of cooking. And that's all of our mashed potatoes. The top layer has a little bit more than the bottom layer, but that's okay. It's all good. Just spread that out. And try to get that. I'll take the rest of my onions. Let's see if this might be a little bit too hot yet to handle. A little heavy, it's cast iron, and I don't want to drop it. Just put those in there, like that. Spread them out. Sprinkle some more cheese on there. We like it kind of cheesy. You can do this with different types of cheese if you like. We tend to like the cheddar. I'm just going to use what's left in my bowl. Now I'm going to add some more butter. Like I said, the butter amounts are up to you. I just like to chunk it up and dab it in. If you're wondering, yes, this is real butter. I really don't like to cook with anything else. Oops. I'll just put one in there. Oh well, I'll just wipe it on the side there and kind of mush it back. When it melts, it'll just kind of go all over the place. Our last layer. And there we go. Now as you can see, it's not perfectly straight, which is fine. Lumpy is good. It's rustic. It's homemade. I'm just going to spread my butter on the lasagna noodles here. I already have my oven preheated to 350. Basically, this is going to be a warm through because the potatoes are already cooked, the noodles are already cooked, the onions are already cooked. Basically, you want to melt the butter, melt the cheese. If it's in the oven a little longer than a half hour, that's fine. The top layers may get a little crispy, but you know what? It's all good. You got somebody in the family who likes the crispy. And I'm going to just put a little bit more pepper on top because I like the way that looks. If you have cheese left over and you want to put some extra cheese on top, that's fine. If you have some extra onions you want to lay on there, that's good too. So I'm going to put the foil up, get the foil from my director. I'm going to cover that up. And we're going to place that in a 350-degree oven for about a half hour. If you want to bake it half hour and then turn it down to warm, that's fine. Keep the cover on.